Soft, somber music begins. Have you ever witnessed a love so strong? It chose silence over causing pain? A love that endured humiliation just to keep a family from breaking? Slight pause. Please, just let my back rest for 1 minute, whispered Elena, as her trembling hands pressed against the icy marble floor. She knelt in the master bathroom of her son's mansion, scrubbing the tile behind the toilet. A place she should never have been, not at her age. Not with bones that cracked like dry branches every time she bent. Strapped to her back were her twin grandchildren, wriggling and crying, their tiny bodies weighing down her fragile spine until it felt like something inside her might snap. The sharp smell of bleach stung her nose, mixing with the salty sweat running down her temples. Every stroke of the sponge was a battle against pain she no longer had the strength to hide. What would you do if you discovered your own home was a prison for someone you loved? The truth was about to shatter a perfect illusion. Maya, her daughter-in-law, stood in the doorway with arms crossed, watching her with the cold detachment of someone inspecting an appliance. If you want to live here, Elena, then prove you're useful. Each word cut deeper than the last. Elena lowered her head and kept scrubbing, her body shaking, her dignity slipping away, tile by tile. She thought of her son, Daniel, and how she never wanted to burden him. That was why she stayed silent, why she endured. But on this day, by sheer accident, Daniel returned home early. And the moment he opened that bathroom door, everything he believed about his perfect household shattered. Maya didn't flinch when Daniel's shocked voice filled the hallway. She simply straightened her blouse, as if the sight of his mother kneeling on the floor with crying infants strapped to her back were nothing more than a mild inconvenience. She offered to help, Maya said calmly, her tone polished, practiced, too polished. But Daniel's eyes, once clouded by love and routine, now sharpened with something that made her spine stiffen. Doubt. Elena tried to rise, but her knees buckled under her. Daniel rushed to her side, catching her trembling hands, horrified by how light, how breakable she felt in his grasp. "Mom, did you want to do this?" he asked softly. Elena opened her mouth, but only a thin breath escaped. Maya stepped forward quickly, forcing a sweet smile. "Daniel," she insists on staying busy. She said cleaning helps her feel valuable. But her eyes betrayed an irritation she could no longer disguise. Daniel had never noticed it before. The way her jaw tensed around his mother, the dismissive flick of her hand, the hollow warmth in her smile. But now, standing in that cold bathroom, surrounded by the scent of bleach and humiliation, everything looked different. He remembered the nights he came home late to find Elena silent on the couch, her face drained, her legs swollen. He remembered how she always said, "I'm fine, sweetheart. Don't worry about me." He remembered believing her, because believing her was easier. But now he saw the truth written across her shaking shoulders. This wasn't help. This wasn't love. This was servitude. Elena sat on the edge of the bed, her palms pressed against the faded fabric of her dress. The twins, finally free from the straps that bit into her shoulders, slept nearby. For a moment, Elena closed her eyes and let the silence wash over her. A silence that wasn't peaceful, but aching. Outside the doorway, she heard Daniel's footsteps, heavy, uneven. His voice, usually warm, carried something new. "Now, Steele." She rose slowly, each movement sending a small bolt of pain up her spine. She reached the doorway and saw him. Her son, shoulders tense, face pale, staring at Maya with a mixture of disbelief and anger that frightened her. Maya stood with arms crossed, chin high, the picture of indifference. "Enough games," Daniel said quietly. "Tell me the truth. Since when have you been asking my mother to do all this?" Maya scoffed, tossing her hair back. "Asking? Daniel, she likes it." She said she wanted to help, but he wasn't looking at her anymore. He was looking straight at Elena. "Mom, please." His voice cracked. "I need to know." Elena felt something twist painfully inside her chest. All these months she had chosen silence, believing she was protecting him. But when she met his eyes, eyes that once belonged to the little boy who used to slip his tiny hand into hers, something inside her broke open. Daniel, her voice quivered. I didn't want to worry you. His breath hitched. Maya's face froze. Elena looked down at her worn hands. Hands that had washed, cleaned, held, comforted, built his life from scratch, and whispered the truth she had carried like a stone in her heart. I stayed quiet because I didn't want to be a burden. I just wanted to keep your family together, even if it cost me. And in that moment, Daniel realized the deepest tragedy of all. His mother had protected him from everything, except the pain she carried alone. Daniel felt the room tilt as his mother's words settled over him. Heavy, irreversible, unforgivable. He turned sharply toward Maya. She never complained because she trusted us, because she loves us, and we let her suffer alone. Maya rolled her eyes. Oh, please. She's not a victim. She just wanted to feel useful. I gave her that. The words sliced through him. He remembered the way Elena had winced when she stood, how the spark in her eyes had slowly dimmed. Suddenly, every quiet moment, every forced smile, every I'm fine, sweetheart, rearranged itself into a truth so painful he could barely breathe. Daniel turned to his mother, voice breaking. Mom, you should have told me. Tears gathered in her eyes, but her voice was steady. You had your life, Daniel. Your happiness. I didn't want to take that from you. And for the first time, Daniel understood fully. Her silence wasn't weakness. It was love. Dangerous, sacrificial, and almost deadly. The air in the hallway thickened. Daniel felt something ignite inside him, a fierce, protective fire. This ends now, Maya, he said quietly, but with a firmness that made her flinch. All of it. And in that moment, a fault line split through their marriage, one that could never be sealed again. Maya's lips curled into a bitter smile. You think you're some hero now, Daniel? All because your mother pretends to be fragile. Her voice sharpened. She doesn't belong here. She never did. My friends used to laugh the moment she walked into a room. I had to carry the embarrassment you refused to see. For a moment, silence roared louder than any scream. Daniel stepped closer to Maya, his voice low, steady, and filled with a clarity she had never heard from him before. You didn't just mistreat her, he said. You dehumanized her. Daniel's next words dropped like a stone into the silence. She chose me every day of her life, even when it cost her everything. You, my wife, chose cruelty. A tear slid down Elena's cheek, but this time it wasn't from humiliation. It was relief. Daniel placed a protective hand on his mother's shoulder. From this moment on, he said quietly, no one hurts her again. And in that single vow, something in the house finally shifted. The son, who had once been blind, was blind no more. The house was silent. Then, 3 firm knocks echoed from the front gate. Daniel opened the gate to 2 men. Mr. Daniel Rios? I'm attorney Gabriel Costa. This is Captain Almeida. We're here regarding a formal complaint. Behind him, Maya broke. Complaint about what? This is insane. The captain met her eyes without flinching. Maltreatment, exploitation of an elder, and psychological coercion. The attorney continued, opening the folder. There are anonymous reports and video evidence. Maya's face whitened. Elena covered her mouth, overwhelmed by the sudden, unbelievable feeling that justice might finally be stepping into the house that had long been her prison. As the officers moved forward, Maya's desperation turned feral. Daniel, you can't let them take me. I'm your wife. He finally looked her in the eyes, and she froze. I don't need someone who destroys the people I love. The front door closed behind her with a hard, echoing finality. For a long moment after the door slammed shut, the mansion felt strangely hollow. Daniel remained still, his hand resting gently on Elena's shoulder. He helped her to the living room, guiding her slowly. He sat her on the couch, placing a soft cushion behind her back. You don't have to be strong anymore, Mom, he whispered, kneeling in front of her. Not alone. Her lips trembled. I didn't want you to choose between us. Daniel shook his head, eyes glistening. I didn't choose between you. I chose what was right. The days that followed moved slowly, gently. The mansion, once filled with tension, now carried the warmth of soft footsteps and quiet conversations. Elena walked through the garden with her new cane, the sun touching her face differently now. Daniel canceled meetings and sat with his mother at breakfast for the first time in years. He watched her pour coffee with hands that had once carried his entire childhood, and he felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Gratitude. Real, aching gratitude. He took his mother's hand. "I see you now, Mom," he whispered. Elena smiled softly. "And that's enough, my son. That's all I ever wanted." Sometimes the people who love us most suffer in silence. Not because they are weak, but because they are too strong, too loving, too afraid of ruining our happiness. And the tragedy is this: love without attention becomes invisible, and invisibility becomes pain. So look closer. Listen deeper. Ask the questions you've been avoiding. Because the ones who never complain are often the ones who need us the most. If you were in Elena's place, would you have stayed silent or spoken up? And if you were Daniel, would you have seen the truth in time? Tell me in the comments below. I read every single one. And hey, if this story from StorySphere touched your heart even a little, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and share it with someone who needs this reminder today. Sometimes one story is all it takes to wake someone up before it's too late.